Hello and welcome back to the Pet and Record Sports Show presented by Prospect Apparel. Today we are joined by a very special guest, returning to the show, friend of the show, Cage Titans double champion, Jojo Giannetti. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Feeling skinny. Just got back from the press conference. Smelled a ton of barbecued food. I can't wait to weigh in and get some food in me.
Did Mikey order a whole bunch of wings again?
Not this time, but somebody ordered some brisket and it smelled so
Oh
good.
my God. I'm just getting hungry sitting here talking just because you said that.
It smelled so good. And then there was nachos. I was just looking at my phone. I was like, don't think about it.
Getting right back to the fight, man. Obviously, you announced that the fight's no longer a title fight. How long have you known that? Did you just find out that today?
No, I knew a couple weeks ago. Um, I don't know exactly the communication between Luigi and Cage Titans, but when I accepted the fight, it was a 5 round title defense at lightweight, and then the fight got announced, and I was promoting it and stuff like that, and then later on, I had found out that it was a 3 round fight and non-title, due to Luigi's choosing. I really kind of tried to advocate for that 5 round title defense because I think it makes more of a statement, whether the fight gets finished in the first or fifth, whatever, but just to have that title defense, it's kind of weird being the 155 champ, fighting at 155, but not defending my belt.
Yeah.
And it's probably, if anything, if he's not being a little bitch like I think he is, it might be a strategic thing. I do shine in the later rounds. I'm ready to go for 25 minutes, so maybe he thinks if he cuts the length, I can't get that momentum rolling. But there's plenty of benefits for me. Just means I get to step on the gas for 3 full minutes. Means I get to cut one less pound because now I can weigh in at 56 instead of 55. I think it shows more negative on his end and gives me more benefits. So I mean, it is what it is. I get to fight, so I'm happy. None of the local guys want to fight me, and these guys that were ex UFC want to fight with stipulations. So whatever. I'm just looking to get the dub.
Yeah, man. I think, you obviously talked to Dana yesterday. I think this shows even more flexibility and it shows you're willing to fight anywhere, anytime, any place. And I really respect that. You were like, I'll do it anyway. It's a big change going from a 25-minute camp, especially like training for it, right? It's a different spar, it's a different setup. So how how did you change that? Did you be like, okay, I can't do 25 minutes anymore? Now we change to 15 when you were sparring.
No, I mean we just keep it the same. Even when I'm getting ready for 3 round fights, like I'm training for a half hour when I do bike. I'm trying to spar as many rounds as possible in a high pace, safe manner. So nothing changed other than the fact that like I don't have to save any energy. It's more of a benefit for me than I think anybody realizes. Like, I'm very good at going all 5 rounds, but now I get to just step on the gas and not worry about the gas tank because I know it's there and then some.
That's great, man. And let's go back to the fight in January, right? Saul Almeida. It was a very impressive performance from you. What did you take away from that fight that you're bringing to this fight?
Experience, man. Something that for the first half of my career I just didn't have. I was just catching guys by surprise and overwhelming them a little bit or surprising them and catching them off guard. And now it's like I'm fighting these local legends and these veterans in the sport and just making them look like amateurs. It shows that I can fight just about any style. I can fight any way I need to win. And I'm really excited to do it again against the UFC vet. And I've been saying it all week. This is my last Infinity Stone. I'm on the last one. I'm putting it in the gauntlet, and then there's nothing left for me here.
Oh, that's the thing. I think, I was talking to Nick recently and he said, this is the final one. This they can't deny it anymore, right? You win this fight, you're in, right? That and especially now Dana's aware that you have a fight. Maybe he wasn't fully aware before. Now he knows, right?
Yeah, 100%. I told everybody because everybody was asking me today. We got to Dana's event like 2 hours early. We sat there in Peter Welch's gym, beautiful gym. Peter Welch was the man, but we sat there for 2 hours, just like twiddling our thumbs and hanging out to make sure we were the first people there. And we were, and we got to have not just like a hey, how's it going with Dana? Like we had a real, genuine conversation. We had some laughs, we cracked some jokes. So he knows, he remembers me. We hung out at the event. It was really cool. So, I'm doing everything in the gym, outside of the gym to make sure that the right people are watching my fights and I'm prepared to go do what I got to do.
And you obviously you did your camp at AKA again. Big camp, working with the Nurmagomedovs, Usman Nurmagomedov just getting his first title defense. How cool is that? I know you were there. How cool is it seeing him win the title, and how much was that a motivator for you going into your title fight? Now it's a 3 rounder.
It was awesome, man. It was really cool seeing Usman. This was the first fight of Usman's that I saw where like he felt like not like he had to prove anything, but he wanted to prove something. And he said it leading up to the fight in a few interviews, like he wants to show the haters what's up because all of everybody at AK, everybody I think that follows the sport has nothing but respect for Benson Henderson and everything he's done. He's an OG. And as much as I knew that Usman was going to win, I didn't think it was going to be like that. It was such a spectacular
Oh yeah.
performance, and to see how happy he was afterwards, it was awesome. And there was a couple other guys that are fighting from AKA this weekend and the following weeks that were there, and we all said the same thing. We're like, dude, that's our main sparring partner. That's our main training partner. Like nobody's training with guys like this. My last week at camp, Islam Makhachev was there. Got to roll with him, so it's like nobody's training with lightweights that I'm training with. I'm literally training with the best in the world, on my way to become one of the best in the world.
And you mentioned Islam, and he has just said that he's not going to fight until the October card. Obviously, that having to do with Ramadan and things like that. They just announced that it's in Abu Dhabi. How cool would it be to maybe get on the same card as him if you win this fight and get into the UFC?
That would be so cool, man. There's a lot of potentials. They just announced New Jersey in I think June. They
May,
have
yeah.
Miami. They have Miami in April. Somebody who was in a thread with Dana and he said Boston. Um, you know, Islam in Abu Dhabi. There's so many potential things for me, and it was so cool to talk to Dana. And yeah, this might be my infinity stone to get to the UFC. But come Saturday night, none of it matters. Yeah, I have one task. It's to beat Luigi Vendramini. Everyone's like, knock him out and you're signed, choke him out and you're signed. My job is to beat Luigi. I'm going to dominate Luigi. I don't care how I win. I'm not chasing anything. I'm going to do what I do. He's going to come at me full speed. He's going to get shut down pretty quick. I'm going to get my hand raised. That's all that matters.
And I wanted to ask you, we're a day out. What is your weight right now, just before the final cut?
My weight right now, so I actually did a little pre-cut before going to the press conference. So it's something I always do. I just jump in the sauna and I do it either for like 30, 45 minutes or like starting the timer when I break my sweat or like an hour if I'm really feeling good. Today I did like 45 minutes. I sweat out a couple pounds. I'm at 65 right now. We're going to hit a hard cut tonight and try to bang all of it out and try to sleep something off. If there's anything left, we'll do it in the morning. But I'm really thinking we'll get it all off tonight.
And then obviously you went face to face with Luigi today. What did you see in his eyes? What did you see? What do you think he's thinking?
I think he thinks he's going to knock me out. I also think that he knows if he doesn't knock me out quick, he's going to have a bad night ahead of him. He says he's half Italian, half Brazilian, so now he can know that he's Fugazi. He's fake, he's trying to give me these crazy eyes at weigh-ins. The last 7 guys I fought have given me these stupid, crazy eyes. We're going to fight. We're going to feel each other's energy. We're going to punch each other. We're going to try and hurt each other. I don't need to give you these crazy eyes. I don't need to, whatever. So I told him, I was like, I'll give you something to look at tomorrow night. And he said he'd knock me out in 1. And I said, that makes sense why you didn't want to do 5. And all he could say was, it's going to take 1 round. Granted, it might take 1 round. That means I'm finishing him in 1 round. But this dude is not preparing for war. He's not preparing for 5 rounds. He prepared to knock me out in the first or die on his shield. And that's just lack of preparation, in my opinion. And I told him, I was like, you ever put a singlet on before? Because I'm about to show you what wrestling is. You don't want to do 5 rounds. That means that you're not ready to put that dog out there and go 5 rounds. I'm going to break him. Whether I break him in a minute or I break him in 3 rounds, he will break.
I've talked to some of your previous opponents, and they've said, like, for you to motivate yourself even more, you kind of have to make fights personal. And so, have you made this fight more personal for yourself than maybe it has to be? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. As soon as he says something along the lines of like, I'm here to knock this guy out in the first and get back in the UFC, that's all I have to do and I'm back, instantly personal. You know what I mean? I've been busting my ass for 5 years now to get back in the UFC. I've been more than 3 times as active as Luigi since getting cut from the UFC. He's fought 4 times since he got signed, and he's went 1-3 in the UFC. Since I got cut, I've fought 14 times. So I've been doing win, lose, or draw. I've been doing whatever I can to get out there, get the experience, try and get all these wins. And now I'm on a 5-fight win streak, still not in the UFC. and this guy on a 2-fight losing streak says he's gonna knock me out in one and then go take my dream, absolutely not. That's just not gonna happen.
And I want to ask you, where you see your exact advantages in this fight? You know, is it everywhere? Is it one specific thing that you're looking to exploit?
I think everywhere, man. If I had to give him one strength, I'd say his hands are kind of quick. But other than that, I don't think they're overwhelmingly quick. I don't think his technique is crisp. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. I fought those before. I'm a jiu-jitsu brown belt. And I think it's one of those things where no matter my opinion on my opponent or making it personal, I don't underestimate anybody. I don't have to like you to respect your skills. I think people look at me and underestimate me every single time. I think he's doing the same. So that's gonna be his biggest downfall.
And can we get an official prediction from you? I know you said like you don't care how it goes, but can we get a prediction? What do you think is going to happen on Saturday night?
End of the first round, he breaks and gives me his neck.
Perfect. And I want to ask you a couple things about the fights happening on the same day as you, but hopefully you can catch them. UFC 286 is obviously going to happen before. It's like fate, right? You get to watch. What do you think
Yes,
of the
I'm
main
excited to
event?
watch. I think I want Leon Edwards to win. Unfortunately, I think Kamaru makes the adjustments. I think he has less adjustments to make than Leon. Not to say Leon can't make them, but gun to my head, I'd have to go with Usman.
And a fight that's in your weight class, Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. I know you're going to be watching that, and I know all MMA fans around the world. You know, we're going to be on the edge of our seats watching that fight. What's your prediction for that one?
I love them both. I think Gaethje's getting slept on way too much. But I do think that Rafael edges it out. I don't think it's going to be as much of a slaughter as everybody makes it seem. Gaethje is an OG. He doesn't fight the smartest sometimes, but there's a reason he's where he's at.
And I want to ask you, you know, if you get into the UFC after winning this fight, do you have an idea of how many times you want to fight this year? 2 times, 3 times more? Obviously, you've already fought twice this year. Maybe just once? What are you feeling?
Honestly, I would probably say if I were to win this fight and I could get a quick turnaround, like maybe UFC Miami, I'd love to bang that out, then UFC Boston, and then take the year off. I've been gone for so long. I just moved into a new apartment and it's still not even like fully unpacked. We weren't fully planning on me even doing this fight because that was a quick turnaround to go back to California. I need to spend some time with my girl and my pets and stuff. But as many times as I have to, you know what I mean? And when the UFC calls, I'll be ready. But 2 or 3 is like the sweet spot. Definitely one in Boston.
That's perfect, man. The Boston card, I mean, there's so much Massachusetts talent, not even just in the UFC, but outside. Combat Zone proved that last night. I hope that happens for you, and I hope that happens for the Massachusetts scene. But one last thing I want from you. If you look into the camera and give one last message to Luigi Vendramini, what is your message ahead of Saturday night to him?
Luigi, stop sleeping on me, or you're gonna end up sleeping in the cage. That's all I gotta say.
That's perfect, man. Thank you so much for joining us once again on the show, and look forward to you on Saturday night, man.
No problem, man. I appreciate it.